I got a little girl that used to swing right there.
If you help me find a title to this record, I'll glorify you every time. I will say your name every time that I talk about how I got the title track to this record.
Did you scope yourself?
You want me to tell the story?
Yeah.
I want everybody in the world to have the joy that comes from God.
He wants to give you things. He just wants you to ask, because if you ask something, then you can acknowledge when it was given. So if you can acknowledge when it was given, you can give him glory.
Because my grandpa dude was the same way. Like, he might as well have been Jesus Christ to me when I was like 10, you know?
Yeah, Jesus is enough. Jesus is enough. I promise you.
Y'all gonna reach a lot of people. I'm proud of y'all, man. This is so cool.
Thanks.
Y'all keep this going.
That kind of dirt cheap.
Y'all ain't afraid to dig deep, which I freaking love. So.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the rain. Even if we didn't like it, Lord, and it makes people drive crazy, you saw it fit that we needed it. So we are thanking you for it. Thank you for this studio, for this opportunity to sit down and share a conversation with Matt. Thank you for him. Thank you for Jasper. Thank you for this podcast and the opportunity to use your spirit for your will. Lord, we pray that this falls on hungry ears and hearts. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the GodDog Podcast. I don't remember what number we're on at this point. I think you might be 25, dude.
Sick. That's my college number.
Let's go. We got Matt Gorman in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. All the claps and applause. We'll add him in on the back end.
Crowd goes
We were chopping it up before Tyler got here, so I know we're going to get into some fun conversations about life and faith and probably some songwriter stuff too. But I didn't ask you where you were from.
Originally from South Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
You're probably the only person in Nashville I've met so far from Philly.
Yep. I'm learning there's a lot of us, or a few of us, but South Philly, I might be the only one, I think.
Yeah, you're the first for
You're
me.
the first, yeah.
I didn't know that either.
And did you live there your whole life until moving here?
I lived there until I was 18, and then I went to a junior college in Maryland called Harford County Community College. That was my first time getting away from Philly. And then after that, I came here, 2019.
So we usually don't even do a whole big intro of tell us where you're from and all that, because we just know that you've probably been asked that a million times, but I'm just a little bit interested about the Philly part now. Mainly because first of all, I've never been. And so I can only think of Philly for what I've known in my head of pictures, movies, or TV or whatever.
Eagles fans.
Yeah. I'm assuming you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I am.
There you go. I am curious of how country music, or was it not country music and just you knew Nashville was the songwriting place, or what? How that?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that place.
I know they got the Liberty Bell.
That dude got a bell.
I know that.
Philly is truly awesome. I'm thankful that I'm from there and it raised me. I'm also thankful that I decided to pick up when I did. Nothing against Philly or anything about it. It's an amazing place. It raised me, and I'm thankful for it. But I'm just thankful that I get to see different parts of the world and live in a place that I love just as much, which is Nashville. But, so it's wild. I mean, there's a lot of stigma about Philly, especially when you see videos of sports fans throwing stuff at Vikings fans and cursing them out and stuff. So there's definitely things like that exist. But what I've learned is a lot of those people aren't necessarily from Philly. They're from outside of Philly, and they claim Philly. So it kind of gives us a stigma sometimes. But everybody that I know and the life that I've lived, the people that I've come across in my life, they are some of the most amazing people that I could ever imagine having in my life. So I'm thankful for it, truly. And my whole family was born and raised in Philly. Grandparents, all of it. So I'm really the only one of a few in my bloodline to pick up and go.
Same.
It's weird. It's tough, and I hate not being with them every single day. But I feel like this is where God is calling me to be, more so than there.
And how'd that happen for you? Or what age were you when you decided that this was something that you might want to chase down?
Music?
Yeah. I'm guessing, is that what brought you here?
Well, probably my best God story is how I got here.
Well, let's hear it, dude. Jump right into the meat and bones, the potatoes of this thing.
I mean, there's a lot of stories in my life that I can reference God in and where he showed up and how he got me where I am. But I'll start with the best one, and the one that, changed my life, I guess, the most. So baseball was pretty much my everything. Baseball was my identity as a person my entire life, and my family. My brother was a baseball player. My dad was a baseball player. That's what we did. We played sports, football, basketball. My dad kind of let us all decide what we wanted to do, and baseball was for sure the only sport that I actually had promise in, probably. But it got me out of Philly when I was 14 to go to a high school. It's all going to tie in, I promise. Might be a little long, so forgive me.
Dude, we got nothing but time.
It's,
About to say, if you're going to do one of those.
I'm not. I'm going to do 2 of them.
So baseball, when I was, a kid, it was pretty much everything, man. I was bigger than everybody else and stronger, so I was ultimately better. And I opened up, I guess, a lot of eyes because of just the way that I played. But
You were that guy.
I was that guy.
I hated.
Yeah, that dog. You know?
Yeah.
And you said you were how old?
Man, I was this big when I was like 13.
Dude, I would have hated you because I was so small. I remember there's a guy. I'm totally interrupting you, but I just have to say this. There's a guy named Will Gardner. He played quarterback.
Shout out, Will.
Went to Louisville. He played quarterback at Louisville, but him on a pitcher's mound when I was like 13, and I was like his wingspan was like 6 foot at like 13, and he was just throwing like 70.
Yep.
And I'm like, I can barely swing that bat. It's so heavy at that point. I just remember going, this isn't fair, God. Like, this is a grown man.
That's how I felt. That's how we were.
So that was you.
That was me. Me and a few of my buddies. We were all on the same team. We were all man-childs. But
Did you have that beard? I'm sure.
I had a neared.
Yeah.
I was a king of a neared. But I remember my freshman year of high school. It was so bad. I thought I was cool because it started to come up under my chin. But I had a forest on my neck. But still do if I don't shave it. But yeah, when I was 12 years old, Little League baseball, I was this size on a 46-foot mound throwing whatever the equivalent. It was like 107 on the major league mound. So I was just throwing hard.
Yeah, you're probably throwing close to 80.
Yeah, for sure. But it's crazy. So this is where the God thing comes in, because truly in my life, baseball was, it was a gift that I had to be able to throw that hard and hit the ball far and be a star player at a young age. Let's call it that. But I worked hard. My dad trained us really well, and we put a lot of time in and dedicated a lot of our life to that thing. And, when I was 13 or 14, I was getting recruited to a high school, which is wild for, kids. It's just not super common. And there was a high school outside of Philly that I had my eyes on, and I wanted to go. I was trying to go for 7th and 8th grade so I can kind of get in there and get a feel for it. It's a school outside of Philly called William Penn Charter, and great school, great academics, just great program. It was a phenomenal place. And I didn't get in twice because I was too dumb. So I failed the entry test twice for 7th and 8th grade, but I finally passed it when I was going to high school. And I wanted to go there. And the reason why I wanted to go there is I kind of wanted to just have a different path, start different. I could have went to the high school my brother went to, and my sister, my mom, my dad, but I kind of wanted to just change it up a little bit. And the baseball program was great. I was being recruited to go there, and it just felt like the right thing to do. So I ended up going my freshman year, and that year as a freshman, as a 14-year-old, I was throwing like 88 to 91, 92 miles per hour. I was the number 2 pitcher behind a senior. And that year I had Power 5 schools like Duke and UNC and University of Washington. I took a visit to Penn State before I stepped on a high school baseball field at the age of 13 or 14, whenever I was. And it was just a gift, man. I had it. I could throw hard, and I had feel, and it was great. And after that year, after my freshman year, I had a phenomenal statistic year, and then I got hurt. I had my first shoulder surgery that year. And it was said to be a bone spur. The doctor said it was a bone spur. So they went in and they, cleared it out, did the thing. And I never really actually recovered from that bone spur. So my sophomore year, I was really not feeling it. Like I wasn't able to pitch at all. And some people kind of thought I was holding out or pretending or whatever. But truthfully, I was in agonizing pain going through therapy. So I went back and they said it was scar tissue. So my sophomore year, I had scar tissue removal, which is the second surgery. So all the schools that I was dead set kind of in my mind that I was going to go play baseball at Duke when I was 14. I wanted to go to Duke. And, I was in contact with the coaches. They liked me. I liked them. That's what I thought was going to happen. And it's safe to say after 2 shoulder surgeries as a 15-year-old, all those schools kind of fell off.
Yeah.
As why would they stick around for, somebody that can't stay healthy? But, I fought back from it pretty much. And junior year I played, senior year I played, healthy junior and senior year as much as I can be. Had a good senior year, and I was getting offers from smaller schools, Division II, Division III, some Division I's, but none of them that I really wanted to go to. I just didn't feel it didn't compare to the Power 5 looks that I was getting, and I was trying to hold out for it, I guess. But nothing ever really came up that I wanted to do, and I got an opportunity to go play at a junior college in Maryland, Harford County Community College, because one of their coaches, John Castro, great dude, he saw me pitch, and he gave me an opportunity, basically. So I went there. I went to a junior college out of a really prestigious high school, which is kind of frowned upon because a lot of the graduating class was going to like Columbia and Princeton and this and that. Anyway, get to junior college, first year there. This is where it kind of gets to the God part. I promise. This is I talk about it every now and then, but it always gets me because it's crazy how it actually unfolded. But get to junior college, healthy, everything's going good, and then shoulder starts hurting again, and in the fall, and I'm devastated because I told my family, everybody knew that if I had to get a third shoulder surgery, that I was done. I told everybody I'm not doing it again. It's not worth it. I don't know what's going to come of it, but I don't feel like going through PT and having to do that all again. So anyway, we get to that fall ball, and I can't pitch. Shoulders agonizing pain. I'm like, I'm toast. This is it. So I told the coaches, and then I ended up having to go back to the same surgeon, just to go get it checked out to see if I could, what it was realistically. And my parents, so I'm in Maryland, Delaware's in the middle between Maryland and Philadelphia. So my parents drive south, I drive north. We meet at the office, and Dr. Morgan, he's the guy that did my surgeries. He looked at us and he was like, "Yeah, we need another surgery." And I was like, I could have cried on the table, I was like, this stinks. And so I was like, all right, cool. Well, I need time to think about it. Like, I'm not going to say yes right now because I don't know if this is worth it or not. I could do everything else but pitch. I could do everything.
Right.
Pull-ups, push-ups, you name it. I could throw a football, but I couldn't throw a baseball without pain. And so I was like, all right, cool. I need to think about it. And we split. Me and my parents had the conversation in the parking lot. And we get to the highway. They turn left to go north. I turn right to go south. And as soon as I lose them in the rear view, I lost it. Tears, everything. Because I was like, it's done. Baseball's over. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to have to go back to Philly and work, a job. Something I'm not going to college if there's no baseball. I didn't want to go to school anyway. So I was like, this is it. It's game over. And I remember just driving down, and I called my brother. My brother's been through the ringer when it comes to surgeries. He's had 2 brain surgeries, a vascular necrosis, which is where the bone dies, and his pitching shoulder, UCL, knee, everything. You can think he's been through it. So he's the first person that I called. And he kind of talked me off of the ledge that I was on a little bit, just made me feel a little bit better about the situation, but still wasn't totally convinced that I wasn't about to have another surgery. And I get, back to Maryland. I walk over to the baseball field. We're having practice. My eyes are puffy. And, my coaches are sitting in the dugout, and I walk in, and they look at me, and they know right away because I'm not having it. And he looks at me, and he's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Man, I honestly don't know. Like, I couldn't tell you if I'm going to do this or not. Like, I'm scared." And he's like, "Well, look," he said, "you're covered. You got a place here. We're not going anywhere. We love you. We want you to stay. We want you to do what's best for you, but we'll support it either way." He said, "Take some time and think about it." And I did. I took some time, thought about it for a while, tried to figure out what would be the best thing to do. And then I caved. I was like, cool, I'll try one more time. Like, I didn't pray, truthfully. Like, I didn't have a strong relationship with God at this point in my life. Like, I was not close with him. I just thought that it was what I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I convinced myself to do it. I did it. I went through the PT, 6 months of recovery for a stupid injury. It wasn't even like a labrum or anything. It was a anterior rotator interval lesion, which basically means the rotator cuff of my shoulder where the bone is. You're supposed to have, let's just say, 16 degrees external range of motion. I had like 47. So my bone was slipping out of my shoulder every time I threw, which apparently was the whole.
So I guess that makes sense, though, too. Like when you throw a football, that's slightly different than your
You're
The
not cocking
angle
back.
of attack with the baseball. Yeah.
Wild. And he fixed it to enough, right? So he fixed it enough. So I ended up going and getting surgery, doing PT. Had some great physical therapists and strength coaches. It was awesome. And ended up coming back for my redshirt freshman year, which is my second year at Hartford. And I had a great year. Statistically, one of the best pitchers in Division I junior college statistical year. And my velocity was back up to 88, 90, nothing crazy, but good enough with the slider. And I did good. And I had UNC and University of California, Santa Barbara, and UNC Greensboro, and some big schools that were coming back into the picture, and it felt awesome. Now this is where the Lipscomb thing comes in. So I go home for break. I'm training at a place in Philly, and there's a family friend of ours who his son now goes to the high school that I just graduated from our neighborhood, and he's a family friend, Lewandowski family. They're amazing. But he was like, "Hey, you ever heard of a school called Lipscomb?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, I was at this pitching conference in Nashville, and their coach spoke, and he was the coolest dude there, and he knew the most out of anybody. So you should look into it." And he was like, "Also, it's in Nashville, and I know you like the guitar." And I wasn't really like, I was singing in bars and stuff in junior college, so like they all kind of knew that I loved it. But so I did. I looked up Lipscomb. And I was like, "Cool, it's in Nashville. It's a Christian school. It's a Division I baseball program and a great conference. Like, this is awesome. Maybe they'll like my video." So we I get going at school and stuff like this, and I go back and tell my coaches, "Hey, I want to see if we can get in touch with Lipscomb, with these coaches. I think this would be a good fit for me. It's a mid-major. I don't think I'm Power 5. I think I'm mid-major." Like, that's just being honest with myself. And they hadn't really no connections with them, so it was kind of just like a dead end. But I kept trying, and I kept reaching out to coaches that I played for previously in summer ball leagues and stuff like that. And I reached out to a coach who I played with. He runs a team called the East Coast Sandhogs out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Paul McGloin. Still talk to him all the time. And he had a connection with the recruiting coordinator at Lipscomb. So he reached out, sent on the video, all that stuff. And they liked it, but they're like, "Unfortunately, man, like, this is great. We would love to show interest, but we don't have any scholarships or nothing. Like, we're fully booked pretty much." And that crushed me, but I was like, "Cool, just let's just keep going." Again, a relationship with God. Like, grew up Catholic and stuff, so I had a relationship with God, but I wasn't talking to God at all. And so nothing really comes of it. I have some smaller offers out of junior college, Division II, some other Division Is that I just didn't want to go to. So I was like, I need time. And I could have went back to Hartford for one more year because I had an extra year of eligibility for my surgery. So that summer I got an opportunity to go to Bismarck, North Dakota, and play in a league called the Northwoods League. And it's awesome, dude. We played for 5,000 people every single night, 13-hour bus rides to Minnesota and Wisconsin for big stadiums. And it was sick. So cool. We get up there and we're playing. I'm doing as best as I can in that league and having some success. And I get a text on Twitter from the recruiting coordinator at Lipscomb, Brian Ryman. It says, "Hey, our pitching coach is going to call you in a few days, so just keep your phone close by." And I was shaking. I was like, "This is the moment. This is it." And we get back to Bismarck, get to the field, and I get a call from a 615 number, and I'm like, "Holy crap. This is Lipscomb. Like, this is the moment." And on the phone, we had about an hour conversation. And he was the only coach that said something that stood out to me more than anybody else, because they were all trying to get me to commit over the phone without seeing campus, without knowing anything about the school. They were just like, commit. I didn't want to do that. So he called me and he was like, "Hey, yada, yada," the whole conversation. Because I would like for you to fly down here and come see Lipscomb, come see the campus, come meet the coaches, before you make any decisions. But we'd really like what we see and we would love to meet you. Fly from Bismarck to Philly, get my mom, my dad, my brother. We fly to Nashville. We meet, the coaches. We take the tour, do the whole thing. And I love it. They like me enough to keep talking, really. So we, at the end of our meeting, this is where the God moment comes in that blew my mind, changed my life. It's right here. This is the point that I always look back to. We're in the meeting and, they're saying how much they appreciate me and us being there and how much they like what they see and they want to work together and they think that I would be a good fit with their program. And they're like, "Man, the whole scholarship thing." And again, we don't come from much, so going to a school like that with no scholarship or financial aid would be really, 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 really hard to close to impossible for me to do. They said, all of our scholarship spots are filled, but last week somebody just dropped and we have one spot with financial aid and scholarship money. Do you want it? I was like, yeah, I want it. Of course I want it. So committed on the spot. That was my foot into Lipscomb. And it took me a while for me to realize what just happened in that moment. It was like all these doors being closed in my life. Division I offers, opportunities out the wazoo to go play baseball at these prestigious schools and do these amazing things, or potentially play pro ball, because I was on the trajectory to do that as a kid. All those doors were closed for one opportunity at Lipscomb to get me to Nashville. That was how I got here. And then obviously played baseball, pitched on ESPN against Alabama. Didn't do great, but it was cool. You know, had the most amazing introduction to Nashville. I had amazing friends, teammates, and they supported me and my guitar and my terrible, you know, apartment songs that I was writing, but they thought it was cool. And they all came and watched me play at Taco Bell Cantina on Thursday nights. And, you know, just all those cool things, man. But that was my foot in. And that was the God moment that I was like, nope, trust me, I got you. Even though you don't know me that well, I'm still going to take care of you. And he did. And he put me right where I needed to be at the perfect time. And then meet my fiance, you know, a year later, and start writing songs every single day and get a degree, all those things. And I was like, man, that's where it changed. That's where I started to just question things more and dive into scripture and try to find people that were like-minded. And it took me a while to do that. Yeah. Kind of had to weed out.
That's a hard part.
It's tough. It's tough. There was a, you know, after baseball, you know, the music thing, I was an artist in 2020 and 2021. I was releasing music, and I was releasing music that I thought I had to, because it was like fitting the mold of what Nashville was doing. And I was like, oh, if they're doing it, then I should probably do it too, right? That's what I thought. I was.
All right, hold on. I want to back up for a second though.
Yeah.
So first of all, awesome story. And
Thank you.
there's a lot of artists here that have similar athletic stories and injuries that we've even had on here. Nick was one, right?
Josh Phillips
was one.
Yep.
Damon a little bit.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of dudes in this town that are like really good at the artist thing that were really good at the athlete thing.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Not my story, but maybe I'm not a good artist either. So I was a terrible athlete.
Dude. I think the competitive nature is something
definitely
that drives.
That's what everybody on here says. But so that's interesting. But at what point, before you like going into the part where you're just saying like, oh, 2020, like the artist thing, at what point did you go, yeah, like I'm going to give the artist thing a real shot, and it's not just I'm playing apartment songs for fun? Or was that like woven into your Lipscomb story of like, no, like I'm not probably going to go pro baseball, so I'll take music serious? Or like, what was the thing that was like, I'm betting on this now?
That was definitely a thing. At Lipscomb, when the doctor fixed my shoulder for a third time, just enough for me to get through. I got to Lipscomb. I had to throw sidearm because it was hurting again. I couldn't throw over the top anymore. I could barely lift it above my head. And no matter how much PT I did. So I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to do this as best as I can. I'm going to stick this out. They gave me an opportunity. I'm going to give them 100% as best as I can to play. And if I'm just helping on the practice squad, get these batters, you know, live looks, and if that's my purpose, cool. Mm-hmm. But in the back of my head, I knew that I was really enjoying writing songs and really enjoying playing shows and really enjoying all that stuff. So I kind of knew in my last year at Lipscomb, even though I still did as much as I could on the baseball program, in the back of my mind, I was like, when this ends, I know what I'm doing. I work whatever job I have to be able to write songs and do music, which I did. I worked at a restaurant for 2 years and cleaned tables and then did sales. So all that stuff. But it was there that I fell in love with Nashville's music scene. Not so much like going and playing Broadway, but meeting songwriters. That COVID, this is probably the most important part I don't want to overlook.
When did you graduate?
22.
Okay. All right.
It was my 5th year.
Dang, bro. How old are you?
27.
How many years were you in college?
5.
Okay. All right.
5.
I was like, my math ain't mathing over here.
No, yeah, it's weird. But my first year at Lipscomb was the COVID year. It was 2019. 2019 into 2020. So the season was 2020. Lipscomb baseball had the best start in program history. We were like 11-4. We just beat number 1 Alabama. on a high. We get back from Alabama, play Tennessee Tech on a Tuesday. And then on Wednesday at practice, the AD comes in and says, "Hey guys, your season's canceled because of COVID." So I was like, crap, you know.
Why was it like everyone's best year?
I don't
It's
know, bro.
wild. I mean, it had been such a cool ride.
Everybody's story is like, yeah, this massive tour I was on, or this, or like work was great, and like we were crushing sales, and like I was whatever the thing was, and then it just like everyone had a thing happening that got screwed.
Man, but I'll tell you what, for a lot of us, I think it was the best thing that ever
Oh,
happened.
I've said it a million times.
For me, I definitely look at it that way now. But yeah, so we get canceled, and you know, we all kind of go home. But I was like, I need to get back to Nashville. Like, I want to come back and mingle and meet people and write and do the thing. So I came back in, I think it was April. I came back, and or May, whatever it was. And I have a whiteboard calendar. It's a roll up one. I still have it to this day. Kay tried throwing it out the other day. I got real mad. But it's 2020's summer. And on that whiteboard calendar, there's all the rights that I had, all the meetings that I took, all the shows that I played. And there's like 2 rights a day for 3 months, and meet this person at this place at this time and play this writer's round. And that summer was such a cool experience for me because I met so many. I think I might have met you that summer, honestly.
Probably.
But like all the people and the experiences that I met, I was so in love with it. Like I thought it was just the coolest thing in the world. And then it comes, you know, baseball school comes back around, switch up a little bit. But that next year, I took it more serious, and that's when I was playing, you know, cover shows or writers rounds, and all my teammates would come and they would start to like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I will say, I did the artist thing and put music out, you know, Little Things, which is actually my most successful streaming song that I don't necessarily love to this day, but it is my only song that's broken 1 million streams. So it's at like 3 million streams or whatever. That song came out in 2020. All that stuff kind of started.
Is it I Pray?
No.
Oh, I was about to say, bro, that's fire. Okay, go ahead.
I praise. I don't even know.
Oh, was that
23.
Yeah.
But
So good.
little like that was. I don't know how to really explain it, but that was like my attempt at being an artist. It didn't feel real. None of it felt like none of.
Kind of had imposter syndrome a little bit, or
Man, the best way that I can describe it is I wasn't being an artist. I was trying to be an artist.
yeah.
And I got so lost. And I met people that, you know, it's not important who they are, but I met people that I didn't feel like I was supposed to be around. And I was trying to be around them and stuff like that. Just trying too hard.
Such a weird dynamic, bro.
But I'll tell you what, I didn't start being an artist until a few weeks ago.
Dude, I'm glad that you said that. Not to interject, but from my unprofessional perspective, I was listening to some of your music a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if it was intentionally in chronological order or not, but I remember listening to some music and being like, all transparency.
Come on.
You could do the same thing with my.
I love it.
Objectively, you know, listen to my music and say the same thing. You go, okay, I see that. You know, this is decent. Okay, I see where this is growing, and then like to your stuff now, it's like whoa, like something happened recently.
Yeah.
And you and your writing artistry, where it just like everything, like from your third goods to your guitar, like it's like a thing. It's a whole package, and that's so cool to see because there's those years where you feel like you're just like, man, I was trying so hard to be this, or like, you know, sound a certain way or whatever. To each their own, like their own experience. But from my perspective, I feel like now it's just you. Like that is being an artist. It's genuinely you and your songwriting and all that stuff, and it shows. So I just wanted to say that. But
I truly appreciate that, and that means so much because the word intentional has been, I feel like, at the forefront of every conversation I've had in the last X amount of years. And none of the beginning phases was intentional. It was just put music out, create songs that you think are cool when I'm 22 years old and whatever.
Yep.
And that is what it is. They live, and I love that you see the growth, because to me
Yeah.
that's the most important thing. And I'm so conflicted about taking those
Dude,
songs off of
don't.
That's the
Spotify.
only reason I won't take mine off.
Same.
Because
Right.
if it wasn't for that reason, they'd be gone.
Yeah.
And I know what's cool about it, but I'll tell you exactly, man, the best thing that I ever did in my music career, the best thing that I ever did was, we talked a couple minutes ago before we started this about the alone phase. And this is where I truly learned how important it is to be alone. And from 2023 is when I released I Pray, right? I released I Pray in 2023. That was really the last song that I released up until like right now. I put a song out called Side of You last year. That was more or less just, hey, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I did the same thing, actually.
I'm about to do one of those.
like, I'm
too.
not dead, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm still here.
Literally.
And that was the goal. But look, from 2023 up until now, I've wrote probably 400 and something songs, just like the both of us have, all of us. I mean, and in those songs, out of, let's just say 400 songs, there's 7 that are worth the crap.
Yeah, of course.
And those 7 songs all feel like the same artist. And I sat down when I used to work. So when I worked at a restaurant, I worked in North Italia in Green Hills. I started out bussing tables with my psychology degree.
Sounds about right. Sounds exactly like a psychology degree.
Yep.
Got a super cool psychology degree from Lipscomb University, super prestigious. A week later, I was cleaning tables. Super awesome.
That's what they don't tell you about the American dream.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. I did it because I worked nights and I wrote during the days. And then I would work some days and write at nights. It was flexible and it was enough money for where I was at in my life. And God, I just lost my train of thought, but it's probably cool.
Those 7 songs.
7 songs. Perfect. Thank you. Through Lipscomb, there was a connection with Ernest, because Ernest's dad was the coach at Lipscomb Academy.
That's right. Yeah.
So Ern used to come to our practices and like gear up and throw bullpens and just kick it. And I never like sat there and was like, had a great conversation with him. Like I just said, "What's up, dude? Nice to meet you. I'm Matt." But our coach was like, "Hey, this dude's trying to do music. Like maybe have a conversation with him." We talked for like 10 minutes, maybe tops. But we kind of stayed in touch. Like he followed me on Instagram. I followed him on Instagram. Like it was cool. Nothing really ever happened from it. 2 years later, I'm working at North Italia, literally dripping sweat, cleaning marinara sauce off a table. And there's this big party in the back, and Ern's back there. And he walks by, and I look at him, and he looks at me and goes, "Dude, what's up? Like, what's he doing?" Like, I'm like, "I'm working." So we started talking, you know, and he was super cool. And he was just like, "Man, I was like, I just have questions. So many questions. I was so lost. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like this kind of stinks, to be honest. This is not what I thought this would be like." And he's like, "Well, let's have a conversation." Anyway, we meet, get coffee, have a conversation for like an hour and a half. He talked about a lot of great things, but the one thing he said to me is like, "Dude, as a songwriter, and if you want to be an artist," he said, "you're going to write a couple hundred songs. And then in those couple hundred songs, you're going to find a few songs that all sound like the same artist. And if you like it enough and it makes a lot of sense for you, dive into it and then go from there." I was like, "Cool. That sounds like a lot of work." And golly, it was, dude. But at 2023, up until the middle of last year, was 413 songs. And I got 5 that I'm putting on a project right now. And then 2 that I liked that are all kind of in the same realm. But that phase of just writing, not posting, not being out, not going out, not talking to people, not doing anything, I was so alone. I was so just lost. Like, but I never found more clarity. Yeah. And being so
Just getting
confused.
dialed, you know?
For sure.
Like there's no distractions, and sure, there's pros and cons to that. You know,
For sure.
you can definitely get a lot accomplished in that season, but at the same time, that's why it's also good to have community, a biblical community, and to know and I've found this to be true with myself. Like if you spend too much time alone, you can start thinking things, getting and ideas grow, and then that can kind of be rooted in you at times. We really do need people around us, especially now in life. I wouldn't say so much for that season you were in then, but just help turn that rudder a little bit. Be like, "Yeah, Jasper, I agree with that, but I think you might be spending maybe a little bit too much time thinking about the book of Genesis or whatever." It's like, Not
Yeah, no.
you know what I mean. That's an inside joke, but yeah, I think it's so necessary.
And
you have to have that.
And it can be like, it is isolating too, especially if you were doing the artist thing. Because I kind of feel there myself to a certain extent, like right now. Like I did the same thing last year. I put out one real song that was like kind of just like a, hey, I can sing a little bit again after my vocal surgery. And like I might still do this, I might not, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then like I'm in that phase right now where every song I write, I haven't found one since the last song that I put out that I've been like, man, I believe in this so much, I'm going to cut it. Which is weird because, and Tyler and I have talked about this a million times, when I was like hammering the artist thing, at least on socials, it was like, if I finished a good song, I'm going to get it cut immediately so I can just keep up the thing of like, I'm releasing and like my numbers are staying up and like my TikTok's doing good. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't really know what song I like for myself as an artist. And I don't love this one and I don't love that one. And I've got a pile of songs sitting over here that I finished, but like none of them would fire me up to go spend $2,000 on to drop. And I'm waiting on that moment to be like, oh, those stick out and they fill together. And I'll go record 5 at a time now and whatever. Back to my point of that is like, it is a weird dynamic though. And I'm sure you can relate because like our introduction to one another was on TikTok. We've been following and commenting and liking on each other's videos since probably I Pray came out and Nowhere Prayers for Me. And it's like, I'm doing it right now. Like I went back to my phone 2 days ago and drafted up every video that's ever worked for me, downloaded them off my TikTok, drafted them back up so that I might get my numbers on Spotify to go back up while I'm waiting to find songs that I might go record. Yeah. But every time I post it, I'm like, I'm so tired of posting Nowhere Prayers, but I'm going to. Yeah, I'm freaking going to do it, even though I don't really want to. But like, it is a weird middle ground of being like, I want to keep up, but this isn't even who I am anymore. Yeah. And I want to write new songs, but I can't find the ones I want.
Want to make enough money to record them all.
Yeah.
That's the kicker.
I needed, this is a side note, but like just to make myself see if I could do it again. Cause like Tyler's probably heard me say it 100 times over the last year and a half of me being like, dude, I'm going to hammer TikTok again and get my numbers back up. And I'll go hard at it for like a week. And then I'll be like, yeah, I hate this. And I won't do it for 6 months. Yeah. So the other day, like, this is so stupid, but it's so real. I have a watch obsession, like obsession with watches.
Heck yeah.
I only have one. It's hard to have an obsession with something you only have one of, but like, unfortunately, the ones that I'm obsessed with cost a lot of money and I just can't do it. And so I told Sydney the other day, I was looking at my numbers from like DistroKid from 2023 compared to now. Drastic difference. And I told her, I was like, I'm just going to make a deal with myself and make this the reason that I keep like promoting my music. Is that I'm going to be able to buy this watch by the time we get married in October and I'm going to pay for all of it from my streams again. So like, don't let me not hammer TikTok because I'm about to hammer it so much that I'm going to lose followers over it. Yeah. And she was like, okay, if you do that and you can pay for the watch from TikTok funds and like, I'm all for it. And I was like, okay, so now I have this goal, but the real thing in my mind is like getting back in the rhythm of being like, I'm going to figure out how to do this thing again. Yeah. You know what I mean?
100%, man. I think it's a game, but I think, going back for a second to the phase of 2023 to 5 in my life, and it'll come around because I love what you're talking about. This is what I've found to be useful for me, so maybe it could be useful for you. But in that phase of 2023, that lonely phase, I call it, I was around a lot of people. Again, I'm a loner that's never alone, and that's like my thing. But those years for me, the goal was to get out of my real jobs and to sign a publishing deal. That was my number one goal in that time frame, to write as many songs as I possibly can, hopefully get a cut and sign a deal so that I can quit I left the restaurant, got a sales job selling gutter protection, made a lot of money. It was great, but I was driving 1,200 miles a week and getting told no all the time, and it was terrible. But it provided for what I needed at the time. Me and Taylor did the same.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, good old leaf filter.
He was a busy man.
It's a grind, but it helped. So it was a blessing in my life, let's be honest. But that time frame for me was to really discover myself. It was a discovery phase of who am I? Like, am I just making music to fit in, or am I making music because, you know what, man? These songs, I like them. Mm-hmm. I like these songs. I like what they say, and I like how they're said, and I like how they sound. Mm-hmm. And in that phase is where I discovered that the next few songs that I'm about to put out were all wrote in that time era, that time frame. And it was, for me, I had to do that. I had to block out the world. I had to block out social media. I had to block out what people think, because now I want to hit it as hard as I can in a way that I really don't care.
Yeah, dude.
The way, when I mean by I say that is like, man, I don't necessarily, and I hate to say this, and I don't want it to sound crude or wrong or controversial, but I'm really not writing or creating my music, so to speak, for like Nashville. It's for the people that are out there that need to hear it.
Yep.
Like, my favorite part about this Jack, Me and Jesus journey, and it's so young and it's, doing whatever, is the comments of, this song will save lives. This song means so much to me. This song, people telling me their stories about their kid that's alcoholic, that, borderline died, that now found God, like all those things. Cool. That's my mission. That's my goal. That's what I discovered in that time frame, is for me to be able to do that. And you know what, man, it might never work. And I look both of you in the eye right now, and if it doesn't work, whatever that means, cool. I get to write songs, and I will write songs. But if it does, thank you, Jesus.
That's kind of what I was telling you earlier, dude. Like, that's the freeing part. That's the freeing part. That's the freeing part of I don't care. It's not you don't care about songs. It's not you don't care about your passions or your dreams or making music and like doing that. It's not that you don't care about that. It's just that like all the things you thought that were going to come with it don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
When you get to the root of why you want to do it.
Right. I had this conversation yesterday with a co-writer after Bible study. So Tuesday mornings we do a Bible study at Young Guns, and yesterday I had the privilege of leading it. And I was talking to my co-writer afterwards, and this was a point that I made in Bible study, but it's Jeremiah 1:5, and it's like, I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but it's basically like, God, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb, and I have this plan for you. And a lot of times we all are guilty of it, and I'm super guilty of it, of caring about so much what other people think. Truthfully, in the grand scheme of things, if I'm enough for God, which I am, so are you, right? In God's eyes, if I'm cool enough for him, then why am I not cool enough for who I see in the mirror? Why am I not cool enough for people around town or around people that we deem to have the power and that matter the most when it comes to our success? You know what, man? Like, that's awesome. I'm going to do whatever I want to do because I think I like it and I enjoy it and I love it and I'm proud of it and I'm thankful for it. But in the eyes of God, if I'm doing the right thing and if I'm enough for him, then I'm enough for myself. And that's the battle that I've fought so long, and I still fight it. I haven't conquered it yet, but it just makes life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think coming to grips with, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I think we all struggle with that so deeply. At least I'm saying that from my perspective because I know that I do. And recently, you said you're 27, I'm 30. We're all about the same age, but I think there's a lot of, like, those alone seasons and realizing that life's just not going to be handed to you, 25 or graduating college or having that bus table job or whatever, but being like, okay, what am I going to let drive my life? And for what reasons? Is it like for ego? Is it for pride? Is it again social status? Obviously that's not true for any of us sitting here, but being able to look yourself in the mirror and go, God used his resources to make me, to provide for me, to give me dreams, he deposited his spirit in me. That's a valuable thing, and like, what are we going to do with it? And what am I going to believe about that? And what does that say about me? And I'm trying to read a book right now, and it's literally sitting over there. I'm only like 4 or 5 chapters in, but there's a quote in it that I read the other day that says, and I'm going to butcher this, but somebody wrote this and the author quoted it, but it's, if I'm not allowed to live my life the way that I'm compelled to, then it's a hypocrite. And it's like, it's not saying, this is a Christian book. It's not like, I think like there's a couple ways that can be taken. Sure, like people that worship the devil, I think like the first thing in that book is like, do whatever you think is like, do whatever you want. And that's not what that's saying. It's saying give God all the glory. Pursue him with all your heart. He will give you the desires of your heart when they are filtered through him.
Yeah,
And it's
they're
like,
aligned.
and you are a reflection of those desires.
Yeah.
And so I just went all over the place right there, but there's such there's a double-edged sword of like, oh, sure, like I'm just going to go live my life however I'm compelled to. I'm going to drink every night and chase girls and like be a country star and whatever, like give me all the glory. Or you say like, okay, like, God, how did you design me?
Yeah.
How can I study that? How can I figure out who you are in my ways that I'm compelled to live and all this stuff? And I think once you chase that rabbit down that hole, you find out that, like, at least for me, I'm finding out how saved I am. And it's not because I did anything, but it's because God actually, like, we can actually take him at his word and be like, you made me. Like, you actually made me. Like, I'm not just a freaking...
Yeah, like designed wholly for a purpose.
Yeah,
Wholly
and-
with a WH.
Yeah, and that's such a hard thing for us to grasp. And
It's a brutal pursuit.
yeah,
Truthfully, it's a brutal pursuit. And there's I talked about this yesterday in the Bible study, and I'm also reading a book right now. I've learned to love books after I graduated, which would have been helpful if I was still in school. But I'm going to read this off my phone. Forgive me, but this is I brought this up yesterday, and it kind of sparked a cool conversation in the Bible study group. And this book that I'm reading is called "Called to Take a Bold Stand." I forget the name of the author, but it's a really cool book that kind of feels like where we're all at in our lives. And I related it to this kind of what I was talking about earlier, the Jeremiah, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. But in Ephesians 2, it says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do good things he planned for us long ago." That's NLT. And in some interpretations of that verse, the word workmanship is mentioned. And workmanship is translated from the Greek word poema, P-O-I-E-M-A, or work of art. And this is where we obviously get the word poem, right? But it also means like song or psalm, a painting or some other type of grand architecture. And I kind of tried my best to relate this in a way so that everybody can understand it. And what I'm reading in this book, what I just read in the book, is this is basically how God sees us, right? He sees us as a work of art. We're his work of art, his masterpiece, his workmanship. And the one thing that all of those pieces of art have in common, although they're all very vastly different. Poems are different from paintings, and paintings are different from sculptures, right? They're all different in their own special way, unique way. But they all share something in common, and it's a phase that they go through before they're complete. And that phase is called imperfect and in progress. And I'm like, wow, I feel like that's where I'm at in my life. I feel like that's where all of us are kind of at in our life. We're imperfect and we're in progress. And the coolest thing about being in progress with God is that God does not move. Progress is moving along, chasing something, growing closer to something, getting closer to an objective or a goal. That would be progress, right? But when you're imperfect and in progress and you're pursuing God, or you're trying to get to a place where you're seeking God, we serve a God that doesn't move. He's an immovable God. And there was a kid in Bible study yesterday that was 18 years old. He goes to Belmont. I met him at the listening room. He was there with his family when I was playing one night. And, we talked afterwards. They liked my one song called Church. And for whatever reason, we stayed in touch. Now that kid comes to Bible study with us every Tuesday. And he's the one that made that point about God not moving. And our phase of imperfect and in progress is everything. Our phases of imperfect and in progress is our music careers, our songs that we're writing, our life that we're living, everything that we do. None of it's ever going to be perfect because our human nature is to fall short. But that in progress part, I don't know. I think it's find it to be a super simple thought, but like, man, it gets me through a lot.
That's so good. It's so true.
I like books.
Yeah, they're great. The
I
one
like audiobooks.
me too. The one I'm reading is called Wild at Heart, and it's a pretty popular book. But it was so, to your point, the audiobook, I got like a chapter in, and I was like, this is too good for me to listen to. I need to read this.
That's cool.
And like I said, I'm only 4 or 5 chapters in, but it talks about how God designed a man, and there's a mirroring book to this about how he designed women. But it just talks about how we have a constant desire for adventure. that is innately ingrained in our DNA. And it talks about how Adam, like, he just told him to, like, take care of the garden, be fruitful and multiply. You know, like, it's not really much different now. Sure, there's a curse, and we have to slave the earth now in order to, you know, provide and do all those things. But at our core, at God's intention for us originally was for us to go on an adventure, man. Like, figure out, like what you're saying, like, figure out who you are, and do something about it. Don't just be like, there's no way that could be true. I'm just going to do this instead.
Yeah, dude. Becoming yourself is not talked about enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's at least like definitely in a Christian space, and definitely not in the way that we're talking about it. It is extremely popular in culture. It's extremely popular in the world to go find yourself and be yourself and be who you want to be, and like you are who you are, and like whatever, but not in your true purpose sense.
Yeah, and the desires that I think, and I touched on this earlier, but I didn't really say it the way that I wanted to.
It's okay. Try again.
I'm going to. But what you're talking about is like when God says, seek me with all your heart and I will give you the desires of your heart. That literally, I could be wrong, but when I read that, when my little brain is like, seek me, and, you know, I'm like trying to define this in my head, it means, okay, chase after me, like fill yourself up with me, figure out who I am, let that change you. It's going to change the desires of your heart. You're not going to want to go chase women. You're not going to want to get drunk every night. You're going to be changed. And then I will relinquish you into the world with those new desires that you have. It's not like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, God. Like, Jesus, I know who you are now, and he's going to make you a millionaire. I think that verse really confuses people sometimes, where it's like, oh, like the prosperity gospel. Like, God tells you to seek him, and he will make you rich and put you on this PJ and blah, blah, blah. Get your podcast sponsored or whatever it is. Maybe.
Shout out to anybody that wants to throw some money our way.
Yeah. But really, I mean, it's such a beautiful thing when you can just like walk away from your sin and towards the Lord and be like, all right, royally screwed this up to here.
Yeah.
And maybe not royally, but for me, that's how I was. And, you know, he like comforts you and hugs you and loves you with his word and deposits that spirit in you, and then turns you back around and be like, okay, now go out into the world and be this thing that you are now, because that's what being born again is, you know?
That's exactly what.
And you have to, that's the thing is like, I grew up hearing people say like, oh, he's a born again Christian.
Yeah.
And he just blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's so weird. Like such a weird thought. Like, how is somebody like born again or whatever? And then it happens to you and you read the scriptures and you're like, okay, if there's not a black and white to your life, and like how like the black that you were and now the white that you are, or the change in just the so obvious change that you have made in your life, then like you were never born again.
Right.
That just it has to happen.
Yeah.
I'm way off of what you said, but
no, you're not.
To your point, yeah, dude, God has a desire for all of us to become like his likeness.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
That's
like
it.
finding yourself is really just trying to be more like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think seeking is a theme that I've dived very hard into lately, and seeking is an interesting word when it comes to talking about God, because when you seek something, you're desiring it. You want to achieve it, right? That's like, look, if you're about to climb a mountain, you'd probably look at the mountain and be like, all right, if you're dead set on climbing that mountain, you would see the top and you would seek to achieve that. You would to get to the top of it. And then when you get to the top of that mountain, you look out over everything, over the whole valley, and you're like, I did it. I sought to climb this mountain. I got to the top. I can say that I did it. I can physically feel, see, understand that I did it. But when it comes to seeking God in your life, and it comes to seeking a different path, so to speak, right? It's hard to actually physically grasp the concept of seeking God, because I can't touch them. I don't know about you, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a
Yeah.
hard thing to fathom. And we talk about it all the time, and people have asked me many a times, what's the appropriate way to seek God? How do you seek God? And I had to think about it for a while because I didn't really have a great answer, but I tried to come up with a universal answer that can be suitable for everybody. And the way that I describe it, and it's so simple, blow your mind. To seek God is to think about God.
Mm-hmm.
Simply, to think about God. Cool. But if you're just thinking about it, is it really seeking God? No, it's about doing what you're thinking about. If you're thinking about what you're about to say before you say it, if you're thinking about what you're about to do before you do it, because is it going to make God happy or is it going to make man happy? And we are all imperfect in that way, where we all try to please man because we get that instant gratification, and seeing you laugh or whatever it is that we're doing makes me feel better because we're human and we want to see that gratification pretty quickly. But when you're seeking God, you don't see that. And we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. But for me, the way that I've discovered how to be a better seeker is to think in the forefront of my mind, what am I about to say? Am I about to make God happy in what I say, or am I about to make somebody else happy? It doesn't really matter as much as God does. And I don't know, for whatever reason, that cleared it up for me, but maybe somebody's listening, or maybe one of y'all are like trying to think about it in a different way. But just to have that thought as a seeker, to me, that's been something that's driven me deeper in my faith, to be able to dive into things that I never normally would be able to do, or conversations that I'd be afraid to have. But for whatever reason, I don't know, it's been such a tremendous help in my life to just thinking about God.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we're asked to. We're told to.
Yeah.
We're asked to set our mind on that, and that's probably why. Because if you're thinking about it, chances are you're going to think about how you speak, talk, act, walk.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
Communicate.
renewing of your mind.
Every day.
Yeah.
That's what it
And it's
is.
daily.
It's mindfulness, but it takes
Yeah.
discipline to act out mindfulness.
Yes, it
Dude.
does.
Yes.
That's what I've been praying about.
For discipline?
Yeah, dude. Discipline to act that out.
Yeah.
And not just know it. Like to actually think before I speak to certain people and lose my cool like they make me do.
And it happens too. I feel like once I understood and learned and felt what it felt like to have conviction, what a crazy word, what a crazy concept, what a crazy feeling to feel like you let God down because
It's
you
the
did
worst
something.
feeling ever.
And it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. And
Yeah.
for me, it's grown from like just saying things and doing things to feeling like God's pushing me to do something or say something to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And if I don't do it, I'm like bathing in guilt because I feel like I just let God down.
Yep.
Can I tell you a story real quick?
Yeah.
Please.
It's wild. So I go to a church in Bellevue. It's called First Church, Nashville. It's a Pentecostal church. Grew up Catholic, went to a Quaker high school, went to a Christian university, Church of Christ University. Religious mutt. Been to a lot of different places. But I found God in the church that I currently reside at, and I'm thankful for it. It's changed my life in so many ways. And a couple weeks ago, there was a guy that I have never seen in our church, and he was sitting in the row in front of me, a little bit to the left, and he looked weak. You know, he didn't look super healthy. Like it was obvious that he was going through something, and I couldn't stop thinking about him. What is he going through? Like, man, I kind of wish I could do something to make his day. Like, I wish I could make him feel better, something like that. And I'm sitting there in church, and the preacher's preaching, and I'm trying to pay attention, but all I kept hearing in my spirit, truly, and sounds crazy, call me wild, but like, this is the truest thing I can ever say. All I kept feeling was, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I was like, go ahead where? Like, where am I going? Like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? And I'm sitting there trying to listen to bishop or preacher, whoever's preaching. I forget. I couldn't even focus on it because I was thinking so in-depthly about this guy. And I'm sitting there arguing with God, essentially. Like, why me? What am I supposed to go say? And all I kept hearing in the back of my head, not somebody whispering in my ear, but you know when you think those things before you say it, I kept hearing blood and bones, blood and bones, blood and bones, blood and bones, strength and blood, replenish strength and bones, replenish blood, back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, what the heck does that mean? I'm fighting myself on it. So I'm like, all right, I'll go pray for him. Church is winding down. We're doing the worship. He kind of steps out and walks up a little bit. I'm like, this is my chance. Go pray for him. Go put your hands on him and just say a prayer. You never know what could happen. I didn't. I was afraid to. Totally afraid to. So I'm like sitting there bathing in my guilt in my pew. He walks out. I'm like, oh my God. I'm tore up. Like I'm literally, I could cry because I feel so guilty for not answering God. And I walk out of the sanctuary and I look to my left and he's there by himself with his hands open, praying. And I'm like, fine, I'll go pray for him. Fine, God, you win. Imagine that. And I go over and I'm like, hey man, like, I know you don't know me. I don't know you. I said, but I just feel like God's giving me a push to come over and pray for you. And he's like, wow, awesome. He goes, what's your name? I said, my name's Matt. He goes, my name's, for his sake, we'll just leave it at blank. And I'm like, oh man, awesome. He goes, well, before we pray, can I just tell you a little bit about me? And I'm like, I would love to, because I don't know anything about you, man. like, please tell me where you're from. And the first thing he says, well, you know, for the last year and a half, I've been going through this battle with this tumor that wraps around my spine that directly affects my bones and my blood. My knees buckled. I wept like a child. I looked at him. I was like, I'm not cutting you off. I want to hear everything else you have to say, but you have no idea what that just did to me, because all I've been hearing in that pew is bones and blood. And he looked at me and he goes, that's just God talking. And I was like, dude. So I prayed for him. I don't know. I haven't seen him. You know, I don't know I don't know what was going on.
If you hadn't wrote that, we're going to. That's just God talking. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
And this just blew my mind, dude.
Dude, those moments are just incredible.
It opened my eyes to the part of like, just listen.
Yeah, dude.
Just listen. And the more that I listen, you know, it's not always going to be as audible as bones and blood. You know, it's very rarely ever that.
Yeah.
And that's the only time in my life that I could say that something like that's ever really happened. But what it really did for me, I think, more than anything, is it gave me the confidence to go step out into my faith.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I had absolutely no idea what I was about to pray for this dude. No clue. And God was just like, trust me when I tell you to do something.
Yeah.
And do it. And I will guide you through it. And I was like, yeah, bless. But anyway, it's just one of my favorite
I love
things.
God moments, dude. I think they're so sick.
They're amazing.
I think they're awesome.
I keep talking about the Spirit, but I'm in awe of the Holy Spirit these days, and like stories like that, how God gives you a spiritual device to be able to hear him. He gives you the spiritual strength to be able to do something. He pretty much tells you what to do, tells you the words that you need to know, helps you be obedient in that moment, rewards your spirit for something that he ultimately did through you, and how that is literally how Jesus works. It's just like we are granted and gifted and accredited things that we constantly do not do and are responsible for. And I think that's just that is the epitome of the gospel, is like we are accredited righteousness. We are accredited the blood of Jesus. We're accredited all this stuff that we don't even do. And I'm not saying you don't deserve anything, you know, about being an obedient, disciplined disciple of Christ in that moment, because you do. You are a tool, and you are a loved child of God. But at the end of the day, we are vessels, and it's just so clear sometimes. I've been like highlighting in my Bible the past couple of weeks of like how many times Paul talks about the Spirit and how it's a deposit, how it's God wanting us before we wanted him so that we could have the ability of wanting him.
I don't know, dude.
Like we don't have any capabilities on our own.
Yep.
And it's just so cool to hear stuff like that. And then I'm being selfish right now, filtering it through the lens that I've been kind of studying recently, but it's so obvious to me.
Same.
It's so cool.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
That like there's a 1 in 100 billion chance that you would be able to guess the words that guy needed to hear. You know,
Never would have been able to.
we wouldn't.
It would have been the furthest thing on my mind. The first thing I would have thought of was some type of sickness, right? Cancer,
Right.
whatever, because it's visible. It's not doing good. But bones and blood.
Hey, I moved this table way over. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm chilling. I'm just hanging out, brother.
But yeah, dude, no one would have ever been able to guess that.
No, man, it's just. I mean, I don't know. You know, God, I don't know a lot of things, but it just feels like that moment in my pursuit gave me it just encouraged me, like I was saying, to be able to listen to God when he talks and trust him that when he asks you to do something that you don't know, to take that leap of faith, that when you take that leap, he will be there to catch you.
Yeah, dude. I feel that way about a lot of those things, like praying for somebody you feel compelled to, and if you don't know why, because of moments like that just like, because now the next time you feel that way, you're just going to be like, whatever, I'm doing it.
Yeah. And the truth is, that's been the thing. Like, I don't walk up to random people all the time and be like, brother, let me pray for you. You know, that'd be wild. But like when I feel that push, I've been able to do it after that without the second guessing.
Me too.
Right.
And it's really cool.
I had it happen. It's funny, dude, because I think I've had it happen to me enough to not do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I did it for a lady in the gas station one time. I don't know why. I still don't know why. She needed it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. It wasn't like I didn't get this clarifying moment of her being like, oh my God, I was literally asking God if somebody would come in here. You know what I mean? Like, but it didn't matter because I've been on the other end of it and didn't tell somebody else either that I needed it or why. And I know.
For sure.
And I see it in like little moments. And I'm only bringing this up on here because of the conversation we're having, not to say anything about the moment because I said I wasn't going to. But it was like the last, 3 days before January ended, and I hadn't figured out what I wanted to do with my tithing money yet. Because for the last few months, I've been like looking for opportunity. I'm not a part of a church right now. Me and my fiance are like bouncing around and figuring out where we want to go.
Yeah, man.
And for like half of last year, I tithed in one church, and then I was like, I'm not even going there anymore. And like I can do different things with my money, and I was like looking for opportunities to help people, and those were popping up in my life. But January, I was freaking asking people, you know anybody that needs this amount of money that I need to tithe this month? Like, no one could tell me someone. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just give it to this church we've been going to that I like. And that's fine. I'll do that. And so ran some errands, went to Tractor Supply to bathe my dog, which, by the way, dude, the Tractor Supply, like bathe your dog sections thing, awesome. So
I need to go do that.
It's so nice, dude. It's so great.
Existed.
Oh yeah, bro. $10 walk in there. It's a whole station. Put them in the giant tub, spray them off towels, the whole 9 yards. $10. Great. Best thing ever. Anyways, go in there and do that. I'm like soaking wet from her, wearing my freaking hunting boots, and this like lady was walking through one of the aisles, and she was carrying like a 40-pound bag of dog food by herself, and she wasn't like a big girl. She's pretty skinny, dude. And so my first thought was like, should I ask her to like, if I should carry that? But she was like toting it. So I was like, it's fine. You know what I mean? Whatever. She's got it clearly. Go in line to check out. She comes right behind me. And I'm like, hey, I'm paying next week. You can go ahead and throw your dog food on the counter. Like, so you don't have to hold, I know you don't want to hold on that. I was like, I'd hold it for you if I wasn't holding this freaking crackhead jumping around everywhere. But just go ahead and throw it up there. So you don't have to hold on to it. Go there to pay, and the guy's like, this all yours? And she's like, no, like, that's mine. And she kind of joked, was like, unless you want to pay for it. And I was like, yeah, I'll freaking pay for your dog food for sure. Because my thought was like, in my head, I'm like, thanks God, like there's an opportunity for that. So I pay for it. She couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. He's like, I'm giving your dog 2 treats now. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I get in the car, I'm like, man, that's so sick. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Literally leave there, and I'm like starving. I'm like, I'm about to go drive through a burger joint for sure in Mount Juliet and get a burger. Drive up there. This is like still in the snows on the ground. They're closed. So I'm like, frick. Go to Burger Republic. Dog's still in the car. I'm like, I'm just going to go up to the bar and order this, sit down there, talk to the bartender lady, server, order my food. This other lady comes up. She's talking to her. And the lady sitting next to me that just walked in, she's like, yeah, like I was going to go to Culver's, but they're freaking closed. So I had to come here. And that lady's like, oh, like I didn't know we were plan B. And she walks off and I'm like talking to her. And I'm like, that's so funny because I just literally did the same thing. Like I went there first too. And whatever, we're chatting it up. And the server's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just rang up your bill on his. And I'm like, hey, it's all good. Like, I'll take it. She's like, I don't know if you're going to want to take this. And I was like, how much is it? She's like, it's for a family of 6. I'm like, even better, dude.
Perfect.
She's like, oh, we just moved up here from Nashville. Like, my husband's not here, whatever. I got 5 kids in the car, whatever. And I'm like, she's like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yes, it's already paid for anyways. Like, this is perfect. You have no idea how perfect this is. And I got back in the car and I was like, dude, this is just like, I just asked you what you wanted me to do with my money and you didn't even give me an option. You just like, I'm gonna swipe in the card for you, bro.
Right.
That's awesome.
I thought that was so sick.
That is sick, man. And both of those stories too, I've been thinking about what I said. In both of those stories, I think what God accredits us, and y'all specifically in those scenarios, is He credits your faith. And that is the beautiful thing. It's like, sure, He put the desires and all that stuff in you, but y'all went through with it.
Yeah.
Like, you moved your body, you swiped your card, you laid your hands on Him, you said the stuff. And like, I just want to know, I want to tell y'all that I'm proud of both of y'all for that stuff, because I do think that that is what's like ours to choose. It's like,
Dude, yeah.
are we going to do this or not,
For
regardless of how much evidence we have that
Yeah,
we should.
100%.
And like you were saying too, like, dude, you get filled up from that more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
I could have spent that same amount of money on myself that day and went home and been like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Dude, it feels good buying something for somebody.
Dude, yeah,
feels
bro.
really
And
good.
doing anything that you know the person in return was like serviced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like whether it was helping people in the storms of Nashville, or like whatever the thing is that you do to serve somebody else, like it always serves you in return.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, man. Yeah, there's so many instances in life that I could think of people that have done that for me
Yeah, oh, yeah.
when I needed it the most.
Same.
And then having that seed be planted and be in back of my mind, knowing how much I needed it and how much I appreciated it, when the opportunity arises for you to do it for somebody else, it's just like, yeah, man.
You have to, dude.
And then driving away from that situation, filled with just the feeling of,
Yeah.
I did it. Thank you, Lord, for giving me the means to be able to do that.
Dude.
Right. And the feeling of purpose,
Yeah.
going, I was supposed to be there.
Oh, yeah.
That gives you like, it gives your being just like validation
Yeah.
of walking this earth sometimes.
100%.
Man, I think, and this is, I don't want to make this sound like this is a me story. Like it's the same idea, but it's one that I still think of and it makes me smile to this day because I have a friend super close, won't mention his name for his sake, but like super close friend that was going through a time of just tough mud. And, he lost his job. He was fired from his job and he was jobless for a couple of weeks, trying to get a publishing deal, stuff like that. And, he's in good hands. He's with good people, but I just knew he was down and out. And very minimal money to his name, I'm sure, at that point in time. And I looked at my 2 guys that I was living with, and I was like, we're all friends. And I was like, man, I have this on my heart to go get like $250 of groceries and just drop them off on a step. Do you guys want to help? And I was like, up to you. I'm doing it regardless. If you want to, it'd be sick. They obviously chipped in because they love this dude just as much as I do. And I drove over to his house with 20 bags of groceries and dropped it on his doorstep. And I called him. I said, hey, can you come outside real quick? And I was in my truck. And he opens the door and he just looks down and he goes, the face he made, like the feeling, the gratitude that I saw on his face, I just drove away. It's before he could say anything. And I didn't weep, but I was just like, thank you, God, for the ability to do that and to provide for my people that need it. Mm-hmm. And I just felt all week, still to this day, this was like a year and a half ago, I still think about that feeling that I got from that. And I encourage anybody that is in a position to help somebody when they need it to do it, because the gratification, the joy, the fulfillment that you get from that, man, woo,
It's better than anything else.
it is such a rush.
You could never find that fulfillment serving yourself.
No. I buy groceries for myself every day, and I hate it.
Exactly. That's exactly, dude. 100%.
Yeah, $2.50 on myself is terrible.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy how that works.
A lot of roast beef and carrots.
Well, the real question is, are the Philly cheesesteak
Yeah,
steaks all the hype?
dude. Yes, they
All right.
are.
I'm not a Philly
All right, hold
cheesesteak
on.
guy. I'm not going to
Listen,
lie.
Have you had one in Philly?
Obviously not.
Okay, you haven't been there. It's right.
All right, hold on. So, have you ever been to the Milestone Deli?
No.
All right, next time you're in Mount Juliet, go to Milestone Deli, get the Philly. The dude's from Philly, moved down here.
Okay.
I've never been to Philly, obviously, like I said at the beginning. I need you to eat it and tell me how close it is.
That's called
Because,
Milestone.
Dude, brother, I like Philly cheesesteaks already. And do you know Matt Burrell?
Oh, dude, yeah.
All right, Matt's a foodie, and he's a snob about New Jersey food and like pizza and Italian food and all that, which I can pretty much be the same way about Italian food. But he had like told my other friend Trey Bonner, he was like, "Hey, next time you're kicking it with Jasper and Mount Juliet, like y'all got to go to Milestone Deli." Like he goes there all the time. Them dudes are boys, and I'm like, "Okay, sure, whatever. I'll go check it out because I'm never gonna turn down someone saying let's go get a Philly, bro." I went back 3 times that week. He knows my name when I go in there.
I love it. Me and Matt got so close during COVID. That was one of the relationships that I still have to this day. Thank you. But like, me and him were tight during that COVID time. He would come over to the house and hang out with all my friends and stuff like that. We'd have bonfires.
He's a character.
I love Burrell. He's hilarious.
yeah.
He's a good dude.
Great guy.
Well, yeah, we always talk about bagels. Every time he goes to New York, comes back with a bag of bagels.
Same thing. He hooked me up with another one. There's another person that moved down from Jersey to Mount Juliet, and they have a bagel shop. And I was telling the guy at the Philly place about it because I had both of them in the same day. And he was like, "Oh man, you're making like the good runs in Mount Juliet today." He was like, "That's the only bagel I've had outside of Jersey that is that close. Like whatever they do is the same thing that they were doing while they were there."
Sheesh.
It's called Jersey Bagel. So next time you go to Mount
checks
Juliet,
out.
start your morning there and end it at Milestone Deli.
Heck yeah. I need to get one. Philly cheesesteaks are worth the hype. There's so many places in Philly that have cheesesteaks, obviously. I mean, there's like a cheesesteak place on every mile. You can find one. And even the delis and stuff. But there's one place I will die on the hill. Whenever you go to Philly and you want to get a cheesesteak, go to John's Roast Pork.
All right. Speaking of John, do you use that as a word?
JAWN?
Yeah.
No.
You don't do that, so you're not one of those.
I don't even know about that.
That John? Or how do you say it? Say it. You know how to do it.
Let me get that, John.
Yeah.
Really?
No, yeah, I don't.
Is that overhyped in movies or is it real?
It was a thing for a while. I don't know how prevalent that it is now. But when I was in like high school and stuff, people
was the
said
thing.
it. I couldn't get myself to say it because I just felt really
I would have
stupid.
done it in a heartbeat.
Let me get that,
If it
John.
was cool right now in the South, I'd say it daily.
Well, people in the South say Bo. Hey,
Yeah.
Bo. Let me get that, Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what John even means. It's just like
It's just
thing.
it's just
Hi,
the
Bo.
name of the object. Just anything can be that. That's from what I've been told.
You're right, 100%. Is that like? Did you see that somewhere? That's a massive Philly thing.
There's I worked at Red Bull for a while, and there were some people that were from Philly that would say it every now and then. But the place that I like remember the most specifically around that is the Creed movie, the boxing movie.
Oh yeah,
They go get a Philly, and they are saying that like the whole time.
yeah. John's definitely a thing in Philly. It was a big thing. I can't speak for it now.
And it's JAWN.
And
Yeah.
but it sounds like something we would have came up with down here.
John.
Go get that John. Actually, next time I put a caption on Instagram in a John boat, that's exactly how I'm spelling it.
John boat is
Yeah.
crazy.
Hanging in the John.
Hanging in a John
John.
boat, eating a Philly in a John
I
boat.
like that spelling
I
better.
love it, John.
John.
boat.
Because it's not
You
the
need
same.
to look it up on TikTok so you hear someone from Philly say it and you'll be like, all right, it's cool.
Is it like Jean? Is it
No,
slightly-
it's just like we don't sound cool saying it.
Yeah,
Dude,
for
accents
sure.
are crazy to me because like, there's certain things that I say that I sound really Philly, like golf and salmon and
Well, you did say bagel.
bagel. Yeah, like
There's also normal
That's
words
the
that
only-
you've been saying throughout the podcast that are different. And I wish I could tell you what they were now because every time you've said it, I've been like, that's different. I think it's that, THAT.
that.
But when you use it in a sentence, you don't say it like that.
Well, let me not think about it for 2 minutes and then come back to
Yeah.
that. But see, I don't know. Accents are crazy to me, and like the way that there's so many people in Philly. I don't think I've ever really had a thick Philly accent. There's definitely things that I say that sound Philly more so than anything else. But the way that some people in Philly do talk, they talk like this.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy. A lot of the Italian people that I'm super close with back home, They have the craziest accents. They want to go get a cheesesteak and do like
That's wild.
I love
Wow.
it. I love accents. I think they're great.
I think they're cool.
I like making fun of them. I like talking like them. I like acting like them.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, man.
Sydney can't stand. Well, she jokes with it. I think she can't stand it because I have some weird problem that like when it's just me and her, I just talk to her in a different accent the whole time and never
Yeah.
use my real voice, and I don't know why I do that.
I do the same
We
thing.
do the same thing. Me and Kay do
Do
it
y'all?
all the
All right,
time.
good. Because
Yeah.
I like it's so
Same.
funny because like we'll talk. It's such a thing that she'll tell me like she knows the phases. Like I had a really bad problem where I couldn't stop doing Trump, and then all of a sudden, like not intentionally, it just went to a French guy, and I was like, I could crush the French thing. Can't do it now. And then it was like I couldn't stop doing the British accent, and I still do it a lot. But then the other
Dude, I'm
night,
the same way.
in the middle of me doing it, I went full blown Australian, and I was like, I couldn't get off the Australia thing, dude. And like, I don't know,
Dude, I think it's an
you.
I think it's an ADHD
gotta
like
be.
stimulant.
it might be this part.
Because that's how I feel.
Some
Mine's I might get canceled for this, but mine's normally a little more African American.
yeah, but like,
Like, hey baby, what you gonna cook for dinner, bro? You gonna cook that spaghetti, baby? And she'll look at me and be like, "You're literally gonna get."
why do we
canceled." I'm
do
like,
that?
It's fun. I don't know. Like,
Honestly, me and Kay do it to an extent, but it's whatever we're watching. Like if we're watching
Yeah,
a
I'll do
show,
that too.
we're watching Game of Thrones right now for the first time ever. Great show, very explicit, but like
great show, yeah.
great show. And it's like we'll be in the kitchen and I'll be like, "Can you pass me the mayonnaise, my lord?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just right because we hear it all the time
Yeah.
on the show. Or-
yeah.
The best thing ever, bro, was like at the peak of me, like it felt like I was talking. I couldn't talk in a normal accent. I was doing the British thing so hard, and the guy that I work with was like, "We're flying a guy in from the UK to go hunting with us this week," and I was like, "This is gonna be great." I told Sydney, and she was like, "This is not gonna be great. You're gonna learn too much and hear too much." And then he came over here and he was like, he had an accent, but it wasn't like.
Wasn't what you were hoping for.
No, and I was like, dude, I've been waiting for you to get here all week so I could talk like you. And he was like, do it, like do the thing. And I did it. And he's like, no, he's like, that's posh.
we got to hear it now. Though.
No, I can't do it on the spot or I'll ruin it. He was like, no, he's like, you're straight up Harry Potter. He's like, that's London, and like that's not all of the UK. Like he still had a very thick accent, but it was more so like, dude, I was asking him like, they're like conversational things are way different.
Yeah.
Like when we run into each other in public, whether we're close or not, we'll be like, "Oh man, like how's life?" And you're like, "Great," but you don't really mean it. And you're like, "Cool." And you walk away, like we all do, like, "Oh man, like how's everything?" And you're like, "Oh, it's good, bro." Like you're like, "Cool," or living the dream, right? Would be something we would do. Their thing is like they would walk up to each other, and like if it's me to Tyler, I'd be like, "Now then," and he'd respond with "How's thee?" and I would respond with "Champion," and that would be it. It was like, "Now then, how's thee? Champion," and you go on with your way. And champion just means like the same thing as being like, "Great, I'm living the dream,"
Wonderful, yeah.
No doubt.
and that's it.
About to use that tomorrow.
I know. I was like, I put it in my notes. I was like, gotta remember to like say champion next time Sydney asks me how I'm doing.
Now then,
Yeah.
How's the champion?
champion.
How's thee is so like
That is wild.
King James.
I was about to say that's King James.
How's
King
thee?
James is crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, that was apart from like the dialect though, like dude, talking to him, most interesting conversation I had of all of 2025.
Dude, it's cool listening to people from different like cultures
Bro.
speak and like just talk. Just listening to what they have to say.
Even their mindset of like how they live life and how they view culture, not like we do.
I wrote with this dude the other day, late night vibes, but we were over at Electric Field and I wrote with this guy from Switzerland, producer, phenomenal producer. But he was just talking about how he thinks it's cool when he comes to America, how Nashville, more than anything, the collaborative scene in Nashville, how we all walk into a room and, share ideas for X amount of time, write the best idea, and then we all get an equal percentage or split or whatever. Not the LA style where it's like if you say a word, you get 8.8%.
Yeah.
Like, oh crap. But he was just fascinated at like how we do things in America, work wise, like music wise. But we were asking him how they do it in like Switzerland and Sweden and Germany, and he was like, "Oh, it's so different." Like, it's kind of just like if you aren't with these people or if you aren't in the thing, like you're just completely discarded. Like, there's no collaborative thing. Like, it's if we're best friends and we write together every day, like that's pretty much what we do. We don't write with anybody else.
Interesting.
Wild thing. At least that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, everything.
that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Like they're
Clicky, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the word.
Yeah, I could see that even from like talking with him about work over there, and they view work way different.
100%.
They view work different. They view it's not that they view Christianity different, like the Christians that are over there, but like the way that we view, consume, and talk about church and denominations, and like they don't do that. It's not even a thought process. Like, they don't have these conversations about the megachurch and like, well, you're non-denom and you're Catholic. It's just like, oh, you're a Christian and like that's the church you go to, and it's not like a theological debate about whatever, even politics over there. Complete, obviously, because they're not in the democracy like we are, but like the way they look at politics, the things that they argue about as a nation versus like what we're concerned with here, completely different world.
Yeah, I think we're
For better and for worse.
we're in a different world than a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy that though. I enjoy travel and culture and meeting people that are not from here and getting perspective on life, because it's like, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in your hometown or just another city or a state or America as a whole. And like, it's every country across the board. If that's all you know, like, it's just a bubble.
Yeah.
And it's so not the truth about life.
It's educational to listen.
Yeah, bro. This was a fire podcast.
Yeah, this was sick.
Dude, I do want to say one thing before we bounce, but I'm grateful that, one, to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, bro.
But I think it's really cool what you guys are doing. Like, I've seen GodDog on TikTok, and I've seen it and I've listened. I've seen people on here. I think it's awesome. But the message that you're conveying, the gospel that you're preaching, the truth that you're preaching, the outreach that you have, the people that you're going to reach and touch is extremely powerful, and I admire it. And I think y'all are doing something that's really cool and special and unique and different that needs to be done right now in this world. So thank you for having me on it. Let me be a part of it. I hope it helps somebody out there that hears it or listens to it. But I want to commend you guys for what you do and what the beliefs that you have that you're standing on. So thank you. I appreciate you guys more than anything.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that.
Thank you for being here. And again, it's just a testament to God and, what he's done in all three of our lives right now. So
Yeah.
Thank you for having the, guts and willingness and, just, the willingness to be here and share your heart and your story and the good parts, the bad parts. And dude, we wish nothing but the best for, obviously your career and stuff, but we'll definitely be praying for your marriage.
Thank you.
And for that to be fruitful. And obviously, I think you're reaching a place right now where music's going to be not a problem.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate it.
You got to ask me your final question as always.
okay. Well, before I do that, if y'all haven't already, y'all go check out. Is it Jack, Me, and Jesus? Mm-hmm. Okay, I always get them mixed up, but that song is fire.
It's so good.
And I'm not just saying that because you're here.
Thank you.
But we normally ask people before they leave, if you were, talking to that kid, senior year of baseball, with his bum shoulder, Doc's going back in second or third time. You got him in the truck and you have access to his speakers. What are you telling him?
Access to the speakers.
Like, if you could tell yourself
tell him I'm not
anything,
playing the song. Tell him.
yeah, like, what would you tell him? And this is just broad spectrum, kind of like you or me or Jasper, anybody in that position, because I feel like that's a lot of our demographic.
I would probably tell him that you can't control.
You can take some time.
I got it. I'm trying to figure out the right way to say it. You can't control who shows. Okay, there you go. You can't control who shows up, but you can control what they feel and what they think of you when they leave.
That's good.
Nice.
That's what I would tell them.
Nice.
Good. Well, God,
That'll be the best one yet.
That was good. And don't be mad about the pause. That pauses everybody every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, I appreciate you guys.
Well,
appreciate you, brother. GodDog, everybody.
GodDog.
GodDog.